What I think is important on here is, what do you want them to call you? Which I haven't added, but I keep being asked, so it's going to be second on the list. It's like, how do I pronounce your name? This is what I want you to call me. I'm going to tell you the information's in the show notes. So that's that part. Then I'm going to tell them about my avatar and the things that are critical to keep the message on target. Those things that they need to know. She's married. We're not going to talk about dating. She's got teenage kids. We're not going to talk about daycare. So just those things that are important of how I want to target the message. Then the topic verification to make sure it matches that avatar that you're working with. I like to talk about my speaking style so there's no surprise. Just, I'm going to interrupt. We're just going to chat. You don't have to prepare to think because it's going to change if you did. And then I do have a reason why the episode wouldn't air, and I think I skipped that. If it doesn't match Barbara, it's not airing. There's no guarantee our time together is going to give you airspace. And if there's excessive edits, if I find that we've had so many interruptions in the internet that I can't piece it back together, I'll give you an option to re-record, but it's not airing. So that's what those are for. And then I talk about, make sure we're talking to a single person, words to avoid or phrases to avoid, things to make the listener tune in. I don't want them to think that they're in an audience of 100,000 people and you can just tune out, kind of like when you go to some of those big seminars and you tune out for a while. I want them to feel like they're being talked to. And then, of course, my inclusivity, whatever you want, however you want them to make sure they're paying attention to the needs of your avatar. And then the personal promotion, which I dial it right back to 0 in my guest agreement, and then I fill it up here. I think it's easier to loosen it up than to tighten it down.
Let me pause you, interrupt you kindly. And there's one thing that I see on your screen as part of the checklist that you didn't mention out loud. And that I think is to let the guest know that you want it to be evergreen. So maybe that means don't tell me, hey, next week I'm actually hosting a webinar next week, because it would no longer be valid.
It is on my checklist, and I have found that it's very irrelevant, so I've jumped over it. At first, I thought it was really critical. I don't tell you it's Christmas right now. I don't tell you it just got to be daylight savings time. Oops, I did.
I brought that up on one of them. Time just changed, and I'm like, oh crap.
But it's okay. The content itself needs to be, I listened to it in 10 years and it's still relevant. And not that, I can go to this retreat that was 10 years ago. Yay. Yeah. So yes, I did jump over it because I don't go into much detail about it unless there is usually, like, it's Christmas time.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about that, but we can talk about being thankful and we can talk about being, the values. We just don't use the holiday.
Okay.
I go into my ad breaks, my timers, what I expect time-wise. I go into the medical disclaimer is in red because this I have forgotten many a times, but my lawyer said is extremely important. And it's because we touch a lot of subjects that if someone were to follow and say, well, Jane told me so, I need to be able to say, follow your doctor's and your therapist's advice. This is just entertainment. So that's why it's in red. So it is not one that I will skip over.
Okay.
And I also check if they're a medical person because I'll disclaim us both at the end. So at the end, I would say, Adam Adams. Just kidding, because I don't go by last names. Adam and I are not licensed medical or mental professionals. We're here for entertainment. So I just cover us both.
Yeah. And I think, and you correct me if this isn't what you heard from your attorney, I think it's also important, if you are a medical professional, or if you have a guest who is a medical professional, you could say that you are one or you're an attorney, but I'm not your hired attorney. I'm not currently working for you. This is general advice. This is general ideas, but it's not meant specifically for you. I don't know your situation or whatever, however you would say that.
Because I probably am not the medical professional, they probably skipped that part. Mine just said I just need to tell them
Okay.
that I could say educational, but I chose entertainment because educational would assume that it's correct. And so we're just here for fun.